Okay, so we're gearing up for a French onion soup today. So before we start, the original recipe called for sweet, yellow, red shallot, but it also called for pearl onion and cipollini onions. Couldn't find those two, the cipollini and the pearl. So I've just added a little bit extra of the other three just to kind of make up that bulk. The recipe also called for Madeira wine, which is like a Portuguese fortified wine. I couldn't find it around here in Edmonton. But doing some research, Marsala wine is an Italian, is a very good substitute. So that's what we're going to substitute in for today. So now we're going to slice these guys up and get them ready to start reducing them and make caramelized onions. Okay, so the onions and the shallots are done. Now we're going to move over to the oven, and this is going to be the longest part now. We're going to reduce these all till they're like a fine caramelized onion. So probably 4 to 6 hours. So let's head over. So over medium-high heat, we got some canola oil and a whole whack of unsalted butter. Now the purpose of the canola oil here is to prevent the butter from burning. So we're going to melt this down and then we're going to get the onions ready to go. Okay, so the butter and the oil are all melted down and heated up. So now we're going to start by adding our onions. And if you have too many for the size of the pot, don't overfill it. Just put in what you can, reduce them, and then just keep adding more, because you're going to want to be able to stir these so that the layer against the butter doesn't burn. So once these are kind of all in there and going, probably 4 hours or so. So we'll tune back in at that point. And when these start to caramelize, we're going to add the shallots. Okay, so we're at a point now where we're not caramelized yet, but we're starting to see some of the browns of those sugars coming out. So at this point, we're going to add the shallots, and they're just peeled shallots. And we're going to kind of get that extra layer of flavor. And if we were following the recipe true and had the ingredients, even later on after this, we would add the pearl onions and the cipollini onions. And the idea is to kind of layer those flavors. So now we're going to put this in here, and we're just going to keep letting it do its thing. All right, so as you can see, we've got the onions have taken on this kind of nice dark brown. And you know what? You could even take it further than this. If you wanted to, you could even give it more time. This has already been about 4 or 5 hours, so I'm going to keep pushing on. But if you wanted to, you could go down until it's basically going to stick to the pan if you don't add some water or stop. So that's up to you. But anyway, we got 2 cups of that Marsala wine. We've got a cup of port. And we've got a cup of sherry. Now the book says you might be able to flambe with this, so let's just see. Nope, no luck for us, it seems like. So, but anyhow, what we're going to do is we are going to take this down and reduce it by half, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Well, I saddled up my shoes.
Okay, now that the soup is kind of done, we're going to take a piece of sourdough, and you can freehand this if you want, or just kind of use a cutter, but we're going to try to get something that's close to our bowl circumference, just like that. And now we're going to head over to the stove. All right, and get some butter in a pan, get it nice and melted, and essentially we're going to cook this kind of like a grilled cheese, but we're going to try to take it a little bit further to make our crostini. So we want this thing nice and brittle, but obviously not burnt. All right, so we got this to the point where it's like a grilled cheese, but we took it just a little bit past that, and now our crostini is done. All right, so it's time to assemble. So we're going to come in here into our nice finished soup and just kind of get the onions kind of distributed through. And we're going to fill this guy right up to the top. Afterwards, we're going to top it with our crostini. And then we have some nice Emmental cheese to finish it up before we pop it back into the broiler. All right, so All right, so we got the soup. There's our crostini and our Emmental cheese. We want to really kind of push this guy right up on top of there. And then we're going to put this guy under the broiler before we get it ready for service. All right, and under the broiler we go. All right, so Matty Matheson, a cookbook, French onion soup. I probably could have gone a little heavier with the Emmental cheese on top, but it is what it is. And I'm very interested in how this is going to be. Actually, this is pretty incredible. Very sweet, much sweeter than you think it would be because of the port and the sherry and all of those flavors. But this is absolutely, like, this is delicious. This is comfort food at its best. So if this kind of a recipe interests you, check it out. The playlist for this book will, the link for this book will be my playlist for you to purchase it yourself. Absolutely fantastic recipe. Highly recommend.